Welcome back to the Better People Podcast.
What I found is that the way Jesus walked, he walked in this gray where you couldn't quite call him bad and you didn't really want to call him good because it seemed to go so against the grain. It's like, what the heck are you doing? But because he was so perfectly settled in the spirit of God, he was able to navigate these spaces in a way that would throw everybody off unless they actually had the faith to see it, right? And so what I mean is the Lord is like saying, I've given you a natural willingness to confront, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I need you to submit that to my spirit so it can come out the way that it will bring me glory.
Yeah.
And now I see the difference between who we were at P4CM, just whacking people over the head, and they're actually being nuanced to how I move.
Yeah.
Because now I get that while the Lord wants to communicate the truth, he also wants to redeem.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
not just trying to crush people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, had I not had that experience personally with the Lord, I would think that, man, if you're that way, you're just gonna be that way. But I'm like, nah, if you keep doing the work, he gonna get to that thing and he's gonna redirect you. And then your job is to surrender to that. You know what I'm saying? Even with I thought about when you talking about your dad, my uncle passed away like unexpectedly when I was like 22. And girl, we were devastated. And because it was just like the first major death out of the blue. I cried every day for a year. That was my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He told
Um,
me that.
he died on set, and so, but my uncle was buck wild, right? He was in church for a minute, and he was in the
Uh-huh.
streets for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing right for a while. He was selling drugs for a while, like he was, so it was like, oh Lord, like I hope he's okay. And but then he had kind of like cleaned up his life, not even kind of, he had cleaned up his life quite a bit, and he was like ministering to all his thug friends, right? And right before he died, but there was still like this lingering, like man, God, what happened? Like, did he get in? Like, did he not? And I worried for years, right? Randomly meet this guy who said he was a prophet. And he's like, hey, you worry a lot. So immediately I'm like, nah, bro, you don't know me. I don't worry. I'm ready to shoot him down. Said, but you have an uncle that died. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I do be worrying about him. He said, yeah, and you worry about where he went. And I'm like, yeah. And my eyes start tearing up. And he's like, yeah, the Lord sent me to tell you he made it to heaven. But barely. And girl, I just start bawling, right? And and I'm like, yo, like, and I think for me, and because I don't want to get too much off topic, but what that established is God's faithfulness toward us till the very end. I don't think even in my discipleship, I see with him having me get on a plane to go chase down, he's not playing. He's going to be relentless about every one of us. And I think that there will always be an opportunity to be awake if we want to be awake. That's all I'm saying. And as he guides me, girl, I'm tempted to hate my Judas, and you were there. And I literally prayed to the Lord today. I said, God, I really want to hate her because that was just grimy. But I
Mm-hmm.
was like, but I know you can give me a heart that doesn't hate, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, either all things are possible through Christ or they're not,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that, the extreme nature of how we move, that has to be my resting place so
Mm-hmm.
that I fight to find where God might really reside in the midst of all the crazy. So then I go back to the system, right? So the system says we represent God, but the reality is they don't. They don't love God. They don't know him. They don't pursue him. And we have to make peace with that and still choose to operate in a way that shows we actually do know him and trust God with the outcome of it all.
Yeah.
That's kind of my overall,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, when I think about myself, when I think about leaders, because when you're mentioning your Judas right now, and I think about the weight of leadership. I was in one of my friends taught a class just recently, and I wasn't able to sit in her class the entire class, but I walked in at a point where she said she was talking to leaders, and she said leaders are going to have to accept that there isn't any upward empathy. And what she meant by that was that leaders are just expecting you have an expectation of the people that you serve that they're going to recognize you as a human being, that they
Yep.
would send up some empathy. And I walked in at
Yep.
just the right time, heard that, and I wasn't able to stay. And when I think about that from the perspective of leaders, not everyone should be a leader, first off, because the
No.
kind of stuff that you're going to experience, like she was
Yes.
able to communicate this because she's walked through this and she
Yes.
understands something now,
Yes.
but everybody can't. Everybody is
No.
not going to walk through this thing
Great.
and, get shot at and cut and abused and hurt
Yep.
and still be able to stand and still, help people to lead. But all
Yep.
of that to say that there's this understanding. Like I
Yeah.
understand you're a child and someone has put you up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was a child
Mm-hmm.
and someone trusted me and put
Mm-hmm.
me up.
Yeah,
And but what happens when you're being put up is that your circle becomes smaller
for sure.
for whatever reasons,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
And then you start choosing people and you
Mm,
end up in an echo chamber,
yeah.
right? And
That's true.
everyone's communicating to you exactly what you need to feel like you still the one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, inevitably, speaking to what you just said, that God is relentless. He'll send someone.
Mm-hmm.
He'll send someone to tell you the truth,
Mm-hmm.
but if that violates if it pokes at this balloon that got me sitting up here,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, that has to go.
Yeah.
But I'm combining the two with it's a tough road up.
Woof.
It's a tough road up, but you must stay humble
Man.
in it.
Yes.
So it's like
Yes.
that the cost of going up is that you
Yeah.
keep
It's
bringing
down.
yourself down. Yes, exactly.
No facts.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like the amount of times the Lord, even going back to how I felt like He prepared my heart going out to California, He's like, because this is my battle. I'm just using you to fight it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you fight it the way I say.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you're naturally capable of A, B, and C,
Hmm.
but there's a scripture that says, man's anger doesn't produce the righteous life that God requires. So I can't go in there with my own anger and expect righteousness to be produced. But all of those things, for me, the blessing of the abuse, Cherie, was like recognizing who I didn't want to be,
Sure.
recognizing who I was,
Yeah.
which also wasn't very great, and then seeing like, oh, what I needed to be.
Yeah.
To a degree, I think that's still being formulated, right? And then and making a choice when I took that hit, like what I was going to do about
Hmm.
like are you going to get up and try again, Sam? Or at this point, have you had it? But I remember too, when, especially what happened with us at P4CM, I remember praying a prayer because I felt my emotions bubbling up and I was like, oh yeah, this could go so far left, right? And so I was like, Lord, I said, I need you to do, I don't know what I'm about to do because I don't really rock with you like that. So I'm not really gonna be consulting with you on a lot. I'm gonna just put that in. You already know, right? So I was like, so I'm gonna say this. Don't ever let me be convinced that you don't exist, right? And don't let me stop holding on to the fact that you're good, even when I don't see you're good, even when I don't think you're good. Because I do, deep down inside, I do believe you're good. But right now, I'm not really feeling that. But I need you to let that deep down inside still remain, right?
Hmm.
And I honestly believe that he answered my prayer
Hmm.
because, and so, but in that, the beauty of it was that, um, when I fought my way back to him, he taught me so much. He revealed so much. He restored so much. He rebuilt so much. He told me what to throw out and what to keep. Like it was such this, and for years, again, you know that it was a minute, right? And that was coupled with me like living my life out here doing whatever I wanted. I've been celibate for many years. I stopped that for a few years. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I'm not recommending that, but I'm saying that was my process,
Yeah.
right? And when I came back to celibacy, when I came back to kind of where I was or where I am now, it was all processed with the Lord in a way that I had never done before. And I probably never would have had I not taken the hits that I took. And
Hmm.
so even when I went through the backstabbing more recently that you were there with me for,
That we can
um,
laugh about now.
girl, but
Painful.
when I went through that, I had such a clarity of mind, even though I was devastated,
Yeah.
but I had a whole different clarity of mind. And so, like for our old pastor, I wanted to kill him,
Yeah.
like literally murder him.
Sure.
I was cool with it. Whenever I saw him, it was like somebody gonna have to pull me off, and whatever damage is done is done.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
And over time, the Lord did a work in my heart where it went from, okay, I won't kill him, but I do hope he dies. And then it was like, okay, I don't necessarily hope he dies, but I hope he sees what he need to see. And then it was like, you know what? He is where he is. God help him, have mercy on him, because hey, it's gonna be a problem with him and you if he die in that state still. You know what I mean? But again, it was like 10, 11 years. It was not a short amount of time. And so one thing I think that for me, especially having been through it, I think as I labor with those I disciple or people that have been hurt, um, and this is just a message even to people that have never experienced church hurt, to be very patient and kind and loving with those who have been,
Hmm. Sure.
and do a lot of, even this podcast is so good, like to hear people's stories for understanding, I don't think we do that very well in the
Yeah.
church, even
Sure.
though the Bible scripture says be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Sure. Hmm.
I think you're a great listener. And I remember times where you'll be like, say, I think I need to listen more. This is like years ago. You know what I mean? And I already thought you were a good listener, but I'm like, okay, girl, do it. But you listen well. And so it's always encouraged me to like be like, yeah, let me make sure I'm listening more too. And even listening to like what's not said,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So you can show up in maybe these unique ways that people need but can't fully communicate.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that as a church or in Christendom, we deal so poorly with people that have been hurt by churches. And it goes back to the system because we're so busy protecting, the piety of the church, the reputation of the church, because of the business of
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Hmm.
We don't mind trampling the people.
Hmm.
That is not God's heart. I can't say that enough. I
Hmm.
think it's rare to find a church, a Christian church, where you're like, oh, wow, like God is really here. Like the way they're going about it, like they really love the Lord here, right? Because even how you would go through conflict, say I'm going to a predominantly white church and I'm black, and they do or say something and it's racist, and I bring it to them. Our ability to have a conversation about it or not
Yeah. Yeah.
says a lot.
Yeah.
We should be able to have even a difficult conversation, we should be able to have it.
You know, yeah, I think it's a tough when I think about my church hurt, in particular as a leader, um, because I know people are experiencing church hurt in a completely different way too than that. And when I just deal from the perspective of, no upward empathy, I think about my friends, my pastor friends who people really don't understand the weight that we're carrying. Everybody, I just recently had this happen to me. A friend of mine's husband died, and this is real recent. Not
Mm,
not too, and a friend of mine's husband died. I was trying to reach out to them. They didn't respond. I wasn't exactly sure why. And when they finally responded, they asked me was the only reason that I was texting them was because their husband died. And I'm thinking, well, yeah and no. I'm like,
right.
I love you, I always have loved you. And I say
Wow.
that in lieu of people don't understand. the weight of leadership
Mm.
because leaders are helping people,
Girl,
not
girl.
a person, but
No,
people. And
no.
everybody has this perspective. And so, when I talk to Anissa and Rudy, and a couple other people, they just were like, the way that you love Oshuri is it makes people feel like,
Like they're the only one.
like they're the only one. Maybe you've told me that before too. And so, okay, I get that.
Yeah,
And I'm grateful that I can help. I can be that. I'm not trying to be
yeah.
that. I'm just being myself, right?
Right.
So I don't know how
100%.
people are experiencing me.
Yeah,
So, but the pain, that was so painful. I actually woke up this morning because I had a dream last night that, anyway,
yeah,
all that to say, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what is this about? What
yeah,
is this about? What is this
yeah.
about? And it ultimately is someone that I love died and no one told me, right? Clearly,
Yeah.
so what, so you so mad at me, you're not going to tell me that my friend is dying?
Dude, oh,
You're
facts.
not going to tell me
Oh
this
my
at
God.
all. So now, in my head, though, just being the person that I am, meaning like I've always been a minister to them, and I try to reach out to see if I could see him. I'm never
Hmm.
thinking this person is mad at me. I never think this person would stop
Yeah.
me from thinking. I'm never thinking anything as it relates to that.
Oh,
My whole heart is,
yeah,
I'm thinking she must have been completely overwhelmed by this.
yeah.
No, she's mad at me. And so anyway, the dream kind of represented that because
Uh,
but I mentioned that because I'm a leader, but no one's thinking that I'm dreaming that I'm in the middle of the night having any kind of burdens on me.
right. Oh, that's so
You know what
good.
I mean?
That's
No, no,
real.
they just see me as
Yeah.
someone who's giving them something the whole
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And people
Yes.
do this all the time. And so what ends up
Yeah.
happening is, pastors kind of band together. So there is some
Oh,
good in
that's
us
facts.
because it's like people don't really understand what we're going through.
Nah, they
And
don't.
all you get is accusation, accusation, accusation,
Oh my gosh.
or betrayal, because that's
Yes.
the other piece of it
Oh,
too.
yes.
And people don't see you as human beings. And
They
so
don't.
so there's this tremendous amount of weight as you try to inform them well on how to be and how to live and how to love and how to journey through this life. Like that's your whole goal. Your whole goal is to give them something,
Yeah.
and I do it like this. I'm leaning because you're just kind of like tailing the ground. You're just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's rocky over here. Let me break that up for you. Oh, let me, you're just doing all of this stuff. You're flying
Yeah.
out to people. You're
Yeah.
doing all of these
Yeah.
different things,
Yeah.
and people see you
Yeah.
as superwoman or
Yeah.
whatever, and they have
Yeah.
no care or concern for you. You know,
In
and
addition to fooling with a corrupt system. But go ahead.
yes, in addition, and so you're inside the system. So this is, these are the walls because the betrayal that
Yeah.
I've experienced
Yes.
consistently and over and over and over again. So I
Yes.
sound like to say, saying, you know this already. Everybody don't know this, but I am completely out of the system.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't
Most.
want to have nothing to do with the system at all.
I know.
And I'm good with that.
No, for sure.
My
For sure.
mom saw me the other day. I came to her birthday party. She said, "There's just a piece about you, Oshri." Yeah, because I ain't got this monkey on my back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, like, first of all, thanks for sharing that story because that's so real about it's a thankless job. I liken it to, and I don't have kids, so you can correct me. To some degree, it's like having kids. Like they don't really realize the level of sacrifice that you're really sacrificing to love them well, to pour into them, to pray over them, to be available to them. And I feel you on, even if we haven't talked, what would make you think that that changes the quality of our relationship? You know what I'm saying?
Girl,
Like if we for real locked in the way we locked in, and or why wouldn't you just hit me up and be like, hey,
Why
You good?
not?
I remember, I feel like there was after everything happened for me, I like paused. And I think I hadn't talked to you in months. And I always randomly shoot you a text or whatever. And you were like, you good? I'm like, yeah. But it was just like I was reeling and just needed a minute. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, yeah, that whole there's so much I could say about that lack of appreciation in addition to the fact that you're giving out so much and you actually genuinely care.
The people who till this ground, who actually are working and who love people, really getting in the fight, going to their house, calling, staying up at night, tripping out, overeating for them, or whatever,
Mhm.
those people you would crucify. The
Yeah.
people who don't do none of this, who ain't doing nothing but
Oh,
standing on the stage and
yeah.
talking,
Yeah. You
oh,
worship them.
you worship them.
Yeah. They get all your money,
They get
they get
everything.
all your time. And that's the crazy thing, because my discipleship is free. And people they will engage as they want, right? And not engage as they want. But then there's some outliers that when the junk hit the fan in their life, they come calling me. No, no, go call this person.
Podcast, baby. Go,
You,
go and hit that.
you,
Go.
you. It's so crazy. But I also wanted to say, yeah, my heart for you and Rudy, because I feel like, oh, Cherie, I feel like you're finally taking a break from the system. Because you pivoted from P4CM and not like you, I don't think ever had somewhat of a breather because I'm thinking so, but I feel like I always remember you being in some form of ministry
Yeah.
or ministry adjacent. And
Hmm.
so I'm just like, yo, and the thing is, your stories are crazy.
Wild.
They're crazy. And to
Wild.
the point where remember I told you, I was like, it's you and one other friend I have that it's like, man, like why does that kind of stuff happen to y'all? And then in my mind, I'm like, am I missing something?
Right.
Is Ocean really doing something?
Right.
But then
Right.
I have to go back to what you've been to me. Like you've literally been the same
Yeah.
over all these years,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's that. I'm like, wow, people are literally just crazy. And
Crazy.
I think though too, genuine, sincere people, to your point from the illustration prior of even how you serve, are the biggest targets,
Yeah.
right? Because people like us challenge the system in the way that if people really wake up to the damage of the system and like come out in the woods instead and serve the Lord with us, it will topple their livelihoods. It
Yeah.
would topple everything they've built their, foundations on. It would just bring everything down and now they'd be left with nothing.
You know what? This is the thing, and this is the imagery that's coming to mind. Because first the thought was John the Baptist in the wilderness, right? And then I thought, yeah,
Mm.
Jesus was not inside these systems. But we keep trying to
No.
push and we keep trying to push it inside of this
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
yeah, so for me, yeah, you're right. I mean, up until this point, I've always been in ministry. I've never like,
But you've been trying to change it from the inside out because that's
yes,
also a
yes,
manipulation tactic and
yes,
a party line they be giving you
yes,
because really they want to sponge off your authority and your actual relationship with the Lord for the
yes,
purpose of their ministry. It's
yeah,
so evil.
yeah,
They have no desire or no real commitment to change,
yeah,
but they just want to pretend it. So
yeah,
they'd be like, no, oh, you noticed that? Yeah, well, you should stay here. You need to teach that. You need
yes,
to okay,
yes.
you liar. Meanwhile, they beat you down, they stab you in the back, they manipulate and they turn and it's like, and you're like, but you said, and what you said and what you did did not match.
Consistently, consistently. But I accept it now. I accept that the Lord, when I was thinking it through this, just over the past year, I guess, a few months, because they all kind of running together, that the Lord has protected me from this. He says, no, this is not your path. Like you keep
Mhm.
getting up going in that
Yeah,
direction. I keep saying,
no, that's
you're going,
facts.
and God's like, no,
That's facts.
this is not your path at all.
Facts.
And again, that's why I can have such peace right now because the other thing always kind of had me uptight It always had me kind of like
Yeah.
it literally like right now, I'm a breathwork facilitator. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing it is because like when it says that God created Adam from the dust and then he blew into his nostrils the breath of life. And without
Hmm.
breath, we can't survive. But breath and
Yeah.
spirit are both the same word, pneuma, in
Mhm,
the
mhm.
in the Greek is life. It's the wind, it's
Yeah.
breath. But
Yeah.
we don't know how to breathe. Like all of the things that have happened in my life, when I look back, because I'm actually writing a book about it now, all of the things that have happened up until this moment, I literally was holding my breath. I was
Ooh.
literally holding every
Ah.
circumstance. I was just holding it. It was just,
Yeah.
and I'm surviving, breathing up top in my chest, never breathing
Yeah.
down truly into the belly because
Yeah.
I was just always running. Why? Because the
Yeah.
system tells you to. But
No, 100%.
but let's just look at Jesus. There's none of this running
None
happening.
of it. No, there's no running. There's no striving. When you look at his first miracle, and you did a teaching on it, was changing water into wine because he was at a wedding, chilling. When he went to go eat with the religious leaders, and the woman with the alabaster box came and was, over his feet, wiping his feet with her tears and the oil in the alabaster box. And they're talking about him. If he knew who she was, he wouldn't let her. But seeing he ain't got nothing to do with the system. When they wanted to stone the woman caught in adultery, and he said, "He who was without sin," and girl, I've gotten so many revelations from that. But he who was without sin cast the first stone, and they weren't able to stone her. He different.
Hmm.
He not like y'all.
Hmm.
He not like y'all. And
Mm-mm.
so for me, and I actually love that we kind of went here. For me, my goal is to really be like Jesus.
That's right.
I'm like, oh, that's what
Yeah.
we saw. And I
Yeah.
see he was very countercultural. He was very, like I say, he was weaving in and out, but he was still honoring God because he was actually walking with the heart of God and his entire purpose, right? Even in what I mean by that is like, even when we look at the woman caught in adultery, I remember realizing they wanted to condemn the woman. But the Lord was like, I didn't come to condemn, but that through me the world will be saved. So what does he do instead? No, he offers redemption, but not even just to her, but to all with that question. And so I'm like, let me be like Jesus. Y'all trying to trip me up and get me caught up on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the point of why he came and who he was and what he wanted to illustrate. So I'm gonna line up with that, which means we can't be a part of the system.
Yeah.
Because real talk, I'm next to it, but I'm kind of next to it because people running out of that mug, and I'm like, come over here.
Facts.
That's, you know what I'm saying? But
No.
like, I get it, and like I said, even when, if at any point, and the Lord has said this to me so many times, I'm called into the system to teach. You going in there to say what I told you to say? Like there's a purpose behind that. You ain't going in this system to be a part of the system. You
Hmm.
ain't even going in the system to work from the inside and change the system.
That's
This
right.
is like a one-off. This
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean, like a sniper. You going up in there, you shooting all the people I tell you to shoot, and then you going back home,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And I think I'm like, okay, even with how he's teaching me to do ministry, now I have a Sabbath day every week. I have a Sabbath week every month because I'm in ministry, and I don't like, the Lord is like saying, you're not a machine.
Thank you for listening to the Better People podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you will be notified when the next one drops.